Hello guys and dolls. Today we're going to be talking about haircuts and handguns. That sounds like a really terrible Lifetime movie, or a barbershop that I don't want to go to. The episode starts out with McGee and Bishop comparing side-by-side pictures with all the physical changes he's presented us with. The main changes are he wears more suits and his hair is longer. So basically he's Season 8 Tony. I think it's also worthy of note that someone has low-key been taking high-resolution pictures of Gibbs for the past couple of years that they've now sought out for use. And then team leader Tony walks in and shuts the whole thing down, but then of course gets caught, so it looks like he was the one doing all of these things. Hi Jinx! Agent Mitch, this man comes in and talks about drug dealers and he's working with Gibbs and the team is teaming up. So the team heads out to find the drug dealer, but DiNozzo is benched. Ice cold. And then DiNozzo's like, I thought we were good! You thought wrong. And then they try and go bust these guys, and it's a man named Benson Long and his gang, and they're basically drug-dealing poker players. Or poker-playing drug dealers. Essentially the same. Then we have a scene between Gibbs and Agent Mitchell, and it's very heavy. Gibbs says he never forgets about a debt. I also enjoy the smooth transition from talking about zero evidence to talking about this man trying to scatter his dead father's ashes. 0 to 100 real quick. McGee is angry that a man calls him buddy. McGee's just not used to the warm embrace of a friend. And I blame Tony for that. Because that's what Tony needs, more blame. Gibbs goes to talk to Abby, who had a wild dance party and smashed both her fingers. They're looking at a gun, which is too worn down to get the serial number or the model number. Somewhere in this scene, Gibbs says, I didn't know that was a thing, which is dialogue that could only occur in 2015. Bishop and McGee go out to investigate, and it comes out that McGee essentially doesn't like Mitch because he's just too swaggy. So then they go find a stoner, and he educates them on drug terms. We're learning so much today! We also learned that McGee's mom voted for him for Homecoming King. So perhaps we've learned a little too much today. Then the two of them find a dead body and they call Gibbs. They're like, get over here. And then Tony's like, nope. Feelings. Thank God the body's not really going anywhere. Tony finds out that Agent Mitchell is the son of Kurt Mitchell, the NIS agent who died trying to protect Kelly and Shannon. So McGee not only got a weird feeling about this man because he was too swaggy, but also because his father was attached to a murder case. He was kind of right. Then DiNozzo was alarmed because he thinks that Gibbs will do anything to protect the man whose father died trying to protect Gibbs' own family. Tony's just very concerned. And then Gibbs is like, you know what? Just keep this a secret. We'll come back to that. When Gibbs goes down to autopsy, Ducky confronts him about it and says, actually, I think you're more upset about your concern for Tony rather than this man. Mitch even goes as far to impress Abby, and basically the running joke this episode is that McGee is a giant noob. One of the gang pulls a gun on Mitch, and then McGee kills him, and then Mitch is like, what are you doing? How dare you try and save me like that? And few things are better this episode than seeing McGee get up into this man's face and going, take a walk, buddy! Cool off, buddy! God. That's what top 10 moments are made of. They find heroin in imported carpets, so the moral of this story is, check your rugs for heroin. Ducky and Abby hold hands, which is a very endearing moment that I will treasure for the rest of this season. Perhaps my life, I don't know. DiNozzo calls a campfire and relinquishes the secret upon Bishop and McGee. He's like, finally, this burden has been lifted. Yeah, it was really rough keeping that secret for like 6 hours, huh, Tony? Bishop asks what happened to Hernandez, and McGee's like, yeah, he just died. Let's keep Bishop in the dark as long as we can. DiNozzo goes down to confront Gibbs, and they have a little altercation, and then DiNozzo's like, Mitch went rogue, and Gibbs is like, how dare he go rogue without me? Also, side note, whenever Tony's going through some inner turmoil, he seems to be wearing a salmon tie. I don't know what to do with that information, but symbolism. And then Tony's like, you know what? I'm done taking orders. Even more done than I was earlier today when I already stopped taking orders. Agent Mitchell is so damn angsty. My God. It turns out Agent Mitchell's father volunteered to protect Shannon and Kelly because a bunch of agents kept dropping out because it was too dangerous, but his father was like, I would want someone to do this for my family. It makes sense that Gibbs would want to protect this man's son so much because he's technically now doing the same for him. How does Agent Mitchell know that Gibbs killed Hernandez? How does everybody know about these supposedly secret murders? Also, the big moment of this episode is when Mitchell tries to kill Long and Gibbs is like, don't kill him. You know what I did and didn't bring them back. But in Life Before His Eyes, it showed that if he hadn't have killed Hernandez, he would have fallen into like a deep, dark depression. So I don't know what kind of lesson we're teaching here. But Long confessed to all of these terrible things and they had him mic'd, so gotcha. There's a group hug that Tony wants to join in. Character evolution. Mitch is finally like, you know what? Thanks, McGee. So much love in one room. Finally, in the last 4 minutes, everything comes together. Gibbs is taking a personal day to go to California, but before he does, he has a talk with Tony. Tony brings him a garment bag, and Gibbs thanks him with 4 straight minutes of intense eye contact. We keep referring to Tony passing up the opportunity to be a team leader. That storyline is such a moment in NCIS history. I think it's interesting that it keeps being referred to the way that it does. Gibbs asks Tony if he wants to be a team leader, but Tony catches on and says, no, you're really asking me, do I want to be you? We keep ending with these very, very heavy questions and not answering them yet. I'm waiting, though, because the answers, if or when we get them, should be a very exhilarating journey. Gibbs goes to California to be with Mitch while he scatters his father's ashes into the water, and in an almost tragic twist of fate, the wind starts blowing in the wrong direction for a hot second, so thank God that mess didn't happen. Gibbs visits his old house that him, Shannon, and Kelly lived in. He goes to a bird bath that has his handprints and Kelly's handprints and Shannon's handprints in it, and it says like Dad, Mom, Kelly, and it's adorable. It's a lot, but it ends on a kind of happier note. I guess he's just looking at the fountain and smiling, and it's a very touching moment. So that was Personal Day. The heart in it is very sincere and very genuine and well done. When a show gets to a certain age, I think you have to start revisiting some older plot lines, and you have some options. You can completely repeat and reuse them, which isn't necessarily ineffective. I think options that are used more frequently are typically turning something you thought you knew on its head, or adding a new layer to something that we already knew. NCIS has been adding new layers to things that we already knew for a long time. It wasn't anything world-shattering like Gibbs was paid to kill Hernandez, but they added a layer of he had a son, and he volunteered to protect them. It wasn't anything that changed the tone or the essence of the plotline, I guess, but it was something that added to it, which I think is a nice strategy and makes for some pretty cool plot lines. That generally seems to be what they're doing with this season. I think they're trying something a little different in the next episode, but we'll talk about that. Overall, I think Personal Day was a good one. With that being said, I will see you guys for the spoilers and theories video for Incognito, because you know what? I can't wait to talk about it. Then we have a scene between Gibbs and Agent Mitchell, and it's very heavy. Gibbs is like, I don't forget my depths. Depths. I've never forgotten about you, Johnny Depp. But I also won't forget about our debts.